don't need bigger knife. Yeah.
Greetings, everybody. We're back around the table again to continue our look at the brand new Cold Steel Air Lights. Both the tanto tip as well as the drop point varieties.
Also known, and we've talked about it in the tip strength, but also known as the G10 Cold Steel version of a Sebenza.
Yeah.
Yeah, not far off.
I'm calling it out right now. We didn't talk about that when we were recording, but geez, man, like it's, yeah.
Pretty close, yeah.
This is the most reasonably sized knife I've ever seen from Cold Steel, and I like it.
One of the more reasonably sized
Yeah.
ones,
Well, they got teeny tiny and then
They carried micro recons once. Yeah.
I'm saying,
They're back. Anyway, that's a different conversation.
that knife's too small. This is like perfect EDC size. What is it? Inch and, 3.25, 3.5?
For the blade length?
Yeah.
3.5.
Oh,
there you go.
perfect EDC
Thanks,
size.
Cold Steel, for putting your specs on their box.
Yeah.
Super quick and easy to
Yeah,
reference.
it's easy for us.
Fantastic.
Overall, this one came kind of sideswiped us a little bit. I think everyone can agree that it was kind of one of those, like, yeah, for the price point, let's try it, let's blah, 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 let's bring it in, let's see what it's like type of thing. And then we all got it, and we're like, oh snap. Like, this
This is actually kind of cool.
It kind of reminds me of the Spyderco Brower in that sense. That it just, as we...
Under the radar type thing.
That's
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And it's also one of those, like, it might be kicking out some options as far as a budget recommendation to get yourself into a decent knife without going arm and a leg.
Yeah.
This might be a new top of the list for me on...
Deal with that.
100%.
This category of steel, that strong of a block and G10 handles. Like, ooh, okay, that's a recipe for some success right there.
Yeah.
And it's,
Nice and slim. It's very pocket friendly.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Cold Steel's getting better at that.
Yeah.
It's Oz 10, so for the guys out there that aren't the world's best sharpeners or don't want to spend a half an hour sitting down sharpening something, you can probably get the sharpener in a few minutes.
Mhm.
Nigel dabbled just a second ago on in the pocket.
Yeah.
And yes, light-wise, holy, I'm super impressed with the weight ratio on the grip of the handle. But what I will mention is their G10. And it's better than what
So
it used to
much
be.
nicer.
It's so much nicer than what the Recons used to be, but you're still going to have this chew up your pocket.
Paul and I had been comparing earlier to a PM2, and this is like a little bit worse than a PM2.
Yeah.
The pattern in it is slightly larger, so it's slightly grippier, a little grittier.
And then on top of that, that grittiness, I think, comes into play with this big-ass Kershaw leak clip that they put on the back.
Totally a Kershaw lead.
Yeah, it totally is.
We will even flash a picture of the Kershaw leak clip because I did find one, and
Nice.
holy God, it's the same. It's
Are
the
they at
same.
an angle too?
Yep.
Yeah, I thought they were.
Yeah, they're canted. It's the
Yeah.
same. It's the same clip.
And me and Dennis both have to give Cold Steel so much praise right now because they do a very specifically styled clip, but then they do supply you with the clip to put on the left side, so it is left-handed friendly.
On all of their knives,
Thank you
All of
so
them.
much.
They
We love
give-
it.
I was gonna say almost
Almost all.
the budget knives.
Not the tie light. Not the. There's a handful, but
Well, the
regardless.
pilot has a
most of-
straight clip.
But you can't put it on the other side.
But I'm just saying that anytime they have a very specifically machined
Oh,
clip,
yes,
They give you
absolutely.
the alternative.
Yeah,
Instead of
the
like
Recons, the Voyagers, all those. Yeah,
Mhm.
and it's cool to see that they're continuing that into this.
and when they are straight clips like the Tufts and the mini Tufts and things like that, they do give you the option of, oh, no, you don't. It's right hand.
Tip up or tip
but
down.
It's a tip down, though. So you can put it tip down and not
You can make it work.
sketch yourself. Because I've got a mini Tuff. It's cool.
So thanks, Cold Steel, for including these two.
yeah, we like it.
Even as a right-handed guy, having the opposite clip, if you want to carry it in a pocket that's not front right, having an opposite clip position is helpful sometimes.
Now, I think the one thing that we can all agree, Spyderco takes tabs on it sometimes and ignores it sometimes, but doing a small little circle, small little polish, something underneath where the clip actually sits to give you a better slide in and out of the pocket
a
without
smooth spot for where the main
just a
point
little
of
dot.
tension is.
Just a little dot. That's all you need.
If I was to buy this knife, I'd probably put a little epoxy underneath there or something like that just to make it myself.
If I do get the clip point, I might be getting the drop point. I might be getting the drop point. I'm probably going to sand down the entire texture just to make it a little bit more smooth.
Like the PM2.
You're going to ruin it, is what you're going to say.
Yes,
Yeah, okay,
absolutely.
cool.
Oh, I got a Recon with regular heavy. You know,
It's got plenty of jimping to hold you in place.
that is a sharp jimping. I like that.
Very sharp jimping. Let's try and get a zoom in on it here.
It is aggressive. Great for a glove.
I was gonna say, for Joe that's dead inside, and for guys that like me that love a Contigo, nothing wrong with his jimping at all. Nigel, apparently his blacksmith hands are too tender for the crazy jimping.
That's ironic.
Yeah,
That's what
it's
it's aggressive.
very, very aggressive.
All right, fine, it's aggressive.
It is.
That,
It
that
is.
one hater of ours is right.
It is, but I like it.
Yes,
That's fair.
me too. Even reminds me of the Gale Bradley and the jimping on the inside of the Gale Bradley even has a similar vibe too.
That sucks too.
It'll chew you up too. Don't get me
It really
wrong.
will.
I don't hate it though.
No.
And it's just in one spot. It's not like the entire knife handle is going to chew you up. It's just
Yeah.
in one spot. So if you know you need to bear down, you can. And gloved hands, like you were saying.
Yeah.
One thing I want to dabble on is price point.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, for the materials and bang an option like
$100 MSRP.
right in there with an Delica or an Endura or
That is a very reasonable option for
I
sure.
think it does a few things better than the Delica, and the Endura. And I own those knives, but I'm going to own this one too because it fills a niche that those don't.
If you have a Delica and you keep bending or breaking the tip, this might be your option. You know what I mean? They're beefier behind the point.
You don't think those
Yeah.
people would
Thicker
exist,
steel.
but they do.
Oh, 100% they do.
And especially the tanto, like if you're looking at the
Yeah.
comparison.
They are not thin stock that they started with here, that's for sure.
well, and they're not crazy. Like
No.
you're not looking at a Formax or a Rajah
No.
stock
Yeah.
because they're insane like that sometimes with cold steel, right?
They still cut really nice.
Yes. The grinds are fairly high for the
Yes.
for the blade width.
Nice high saber.
Nothing wrong with that. We were talking about the tips and the tip strengths and things like that, and especially on the Tanto. If you compare it to a Recon, if you compare it to a lot of other Tantos, they still have some sort of like half an inch, 3/4 of an inch distal taper towards the tip.
Yeah, there's no secondary bevel on that tip. It's all primary.
Yeah,
Like,
it's all wedge all the time.
Yeah.
Now,
Very Scandi grind-esque for that section there.
Yeah.
to some degree, but I mean, with that big secondary bevel, it's reminiscent again, and I'm going to call back to a Sabenza. And look at Tanto Sabenzas,
Yeah.
and they
Similar
have the
application.
exact same front grind.
I was saying to Joe earlier, a guy named Tough Thumbs does a similar grind pattern as well.
Okay, yeah. Even Nigel's bailout that he just came out with, he reprofiled it to make it look very much like the Airlight tip.
Yeah, I was very pleased to see that they did do that as well, because part of the reason why I brought it so far back like that is to help thin out the cutting ability right up at the tip. And if they hadn't done that on the Airlight, it would just be a square chunk at the front edge.
Yeah, they could have made it a Phillips screwdriver.
Now,
Robertson.
for some applications, I'm definitely going to recommend that Tanto because of the ridiculous strength on the front of that thing.
Right.
And with Oz 10, the added ingredients with the silicone and the impact resistance that's going to have in the steel chart itself, yeah, you bet this thing's going to snap through carpets all day,
Yeah.
just like the Mall Ninjas.
Yeah.
Speaking of all ninjas and car hoods, just for a size comparison, this is the Recon 1. So you can kind of see the size difference. Blade slightly longer, handle slightly longer, more
Much
aggressive
beefier.
it goes. But yeah, it's not that far.
And the
thickness.
taper. Well,
Yeah,
and the distal
but
taper
yeah.
on the front, that's the big noticeable
Yeah.
thing between the two. Even the Recon has a good 1/2 to 3/4
Yeah,
inch.
it's full thickness to like the last 1/8 of an inch or
Yeah.
so.
It's a tank.
So if you want to slice your tip, go with the drop point because it does actually taper out pretty nicely.
And if you want to scrape something off the edge of marble,
What I was going to say there is that this kind of reminds me of the CRKT Rousel
Right.
scraping tip.
Yeah, a little bit.
And scraping stickers and stuff like that with that Tanto would probably work pretty freaking good.
Oh yeah.
if we're dabbling on comments, hey, look, lightweight shit. Imagine that. The more companies are coming out on the lightweight bandwagon. 3.2, Jimmy.
Yeah.
Jimmy.
Yeah, we should mention there's no steel on the inside of that knife except for the lock bar.
Cold Steel's done tests on the Recons. Anyone who thinks they need a steel liner is playing with grandpa plastic.
They're
This
right.
isn't grandpa's plastic, man. Like
No
it's
kidding.
good stuff.
G10's usable, absolutely.
And they wouldn't be putting a triad lock on plain G10 if they didn't trust it, because that combination could be explosive. Yeah, exactly.
And you can see the strength in that triad lock by the fact that the pin comes all the way through the G10. Like, it's not just
set.
Yeah, it's not a socket on the inside or something.
Now, not beautifully dialed like you can be, but again, cold steel, getting them into Canada, stuff like that, they do need some. But I am very confident that if you wanted to make this a beautifully dialed knife, you could probably get it to drop shut, no problem.
And they're even smoother now that we've been messing around with them a little bit before recording versus how they were initially too. So
even that,
they'll break in quite nicely.
Can I touch on one small gripe? I'm trying to figure out which knife it's worse on. I don't know why they relieved a little bit of the lock bar. Like
I can see it right there.
Right
there's just a shadow of on this one more dramatic.
Yeah,
for sure.
and it's not exactly straight. It's not exactly even. It looks like it was done by hand after the fact. And I don't know exactly why they did it because it looks like it's.
I'm going to give you something.
Below.
I'm going to give you something. Yeah. The subtlety of knowing where that lock is without a visual reference, and feel wise, you can feel it.
Yeah, I can feel it more because of
the lack of the G10. You think that would be much better?
That's
what I'm noticing way more.
Yeah, for sure. And you're right. The lack of the G10 does fit you in a little bit better.
It almost kind of reminds me of what Spyderco does, where they relieve the lock bar a little bit, but it's not.
I've had experience with dealing with blind people with handling knives and stuff like that, and the Spyderco makes a lot of sense because of the big oak divot. And I thought at first that you could, and you can feel it, but you're right. The G10 is much more obvious of feeling right there where the lock is. So
very obvious on that.
I was kind of like, I wish we had another cold steel knife to look at. Well,
it makes no sense because it's now below the handle there, which I guess you could feel originally, but you could still feel the lock bar. So.
Is it to keep you from pinching yourself somehow?
Could be. Not sure. And it's ergonomically, there's no reason on why you wouldn't just make it a straight back. So I'd love to hear from Cold Steel on why.
I was just about to say that. Let us know why it's there.
Yeah.
It's not bad. It's not anything like that.
It's a little strange.
Just curious.
Yeah. Is it a symmetrically milled piece where the underside of the triad lock is trying to snug up against the underside and they just mill it out symmetrically because it's easier to grab it? I don't know.
I was going to say they might be able to get things ever so slightly closer together or something like that.
It's an interesting concept, and you can notice it more on the recons, and I'm going to go look at my Ultimate Hunter after this recording is over and probably post that on the story just for tonight, guys that are listening to it, right? So,
That's it.
So is there really much any other points?
Overall, we were all pretty impressed with what it
pretty
is.
positive,
right?
I think it's just repetitive at this point. This thing's a cool knife. I think everyone should have a second look at this one if they pass by it the first time around.
It's nice that there's not one thing that we're all like, oh, I wish they changed this. Like, just
no, it's all around pretty pleasing. There's not really anything wrong with it. It's just we can get snobby.
Okay, The one thing that we dabbled on Tuesday that you argued with is Oz 8 compared to Oz 10, and you were like, oh, it's not quite, and it's not quite. It is. It's better than a BG10, and like in a BD1N realm. But the one thing I will dabble on with it is we're snobs. God, we're snobs. We've got M4s. Like I'm lowballing it with D2 tonight. Like it's
Imagine this exact same knife from them, but in their S35.
Oh, dude. Yeah. I'd pay $199 Canadian for that, no problem. And with Cold Steel, it'd probably be less because their price points are smoking on
That's
stuff.
what I was going to say.
So don't get me wrong. Oz 10 is a great option for it, but the only reason I griped about Oz 8 and Oz 10 is honestly when you put them on paper for knife snobs, I'm like, sweet, a better version of 440.
When there's things like M390 and stuff out there, it's never going to be as exciting, but
but it's cool to see
a great option for somebody that doesn't want to sharpen for an hour.
Exactly. Yeah.
Only because of the knives that we've gone through in our lifetime to get to where we're at as knife nerds is the only reason why.
And for the snobs who've sharpened things like M4 and M390, just think about the mirror polish you can get on this thing.
Yeah.
If these knives were available when I first started getting into knives, these knives would be in my pocket. That's for sure. You know what I mean?
All right.
That's.
I think that.
Going to give a big giant thank out to the Cutting Edge once again.
I was going to say, once again, letting us play with some cool stuff here. Things that we get to go show you guys, and hopefully we're going to show you more to come as 2020 is continuing on. And as soon as we get new stuff to play with, we'll let you guys know. Yeah. So
that's it. Head on over to the Instagram there. Our Instagram page is the Pokey Factor. I don't know why I said it like that.
That's all right.
It's out there now.
Sure.
Can't take it back.
No. But the same way you can get in the comments on YouTube and let us know what you're into and things like that and what you want to see from us, head on over to Instagram. follow us there. Let us know what you want to see in the future as well. You know what I mean?
Check out our stories. We're going to try to start to do more live stuff. I think that's a lot of fun. I think you guys will really enjoy it on Sunday nights, and it's an easy way to continue the week all week long with us.
Drool over the food that we're cooking.
Until you're sick of us all week long. All right, guys.
And then, yeah, also head over to the Patreon page to check out what we might tease up as far as the next giveaway, because that is where it will be announced.
That's it.
And yeah, that all being said, this is Nigel the Smith signing off.
I am who I am. I'm Dennis Pipers.
I am the Iron Joe.
I'm XL.ca.
We will catch you again next week.
Cheers, guys.
We don't need